Hi all, this is Deepak. Hope you all are doing well. Today in this video we are going to cover topic like how to create table in React.js using React table library. We are going to import some JSON data from some JSON file and display it into the React table. The main functions and points which we are going to cover are like first we will implement the sorting functionality, next pagination, and finally we will implement the searching functionality. All these points and functionality we are going to implement in this video from scratch. The points which we are going to implement or cover in sequence are like first we will create React.js application. Next we will create the table using React table library and the hooks and functions provided in the React table and display the JSON data into the table. Next, the functionality point of view, we are going to implement the sorting functionality first, next like pagination, and finally we are going to implement the searching functionality. With this, like all these points and functionality we are going to implement from scratch in this video. Once we build and run our application, how our application will look like, you can see this interface. So herein we have provided the search filter. We can enter the text and accordingly the data will get filtered out. Basically this search is applicable to all the columns and data into the table. Let's say if you want to go for brand Google, and it will show the filter out the data based on this text. This is about the filtering. Next, like we are going to implement the sorting, in which we are going to sort table data in ascending or descending manner, and this is applicable to all the columns. Next, like we are going to implement the pagination, and in which we are going to create 4 different buttons with name like first, previous, next, and last. We are also going to show the count and page index in between. So by default the table is showing the 10 records, and as we click on the next button it will show the next 10 records. Likewise it will keep on showing until we reach the last page. Once we reach the last page, the next and last button will get disabled because we do not have any more data to show. Similar way we can click on previous button, it will show the previous 10 records. Likewise if we click on first, it will go to the first page. If we click on last, it will show the last page. And once we reach on first page, here you can see the first button and previous button is getting disabled. So all this functionality we are going to cover. So without any further ado, let us jump into the coding. Let me close the existing VS Code instance and open a new one. We can create our React.js application using command create, using command npm create with @latest, and we can provide the project name. Let's say for in our case it's a product-web, so it will create the project with name product-web. We can select the option React and next as a JavaScript. So you can see the project web folder is created with all the default files and folders. Next we can go to the project folder, and here we can run command as npm install. It will install the dependencies. So till the time it installs, let me tell you the React table library. So with React table we can create dynamic tables or the customizable tables. React table is a headless table. It means that it gives we can add the new features and functionalities on top of existing table. In short, like it is extensible, and it gives us more control as per as the design and development of table is concerned. we can develop or design the table the way we want as per our requirement, and it is more flexible for us, like we will have a full control on table customization. Apart from that, like for pagination and searching and sorting functionalities, it will we can remove lot many boilerplate code by using the existing hooks and functionalities available in React table library. Let us run our command using npm run dev. We can see the application is running fine. Now the next point, like what we can do, we can remove the content from our okay, so let me fine. Fine, seems good. Now let us clear the content from the app.jsx first, so that we can make a fresh start. Let me clear the content. Next, unused variables and the imports, which is unused imports. Fine, we can see it is cleared. Similar way, we can clear content from app.css. We can save it. Fine. Now first thing, like we need to install the dependency which are required to create our React table. We can install the dependency using command npm install. React table is the first dependency, and JSON loader as the next one. With JSON loader, we are going to import the JSON file into our application. So we can check into package.json. Here we can see the dependency is added as expected for JSON loader and React table. Now next thing, we can create one file with name as a product.json, wherein we can store the data. Now I have some sample data prepared. We can add it here. Now we can see here, like the structure of the data is like this one. This is the array. Inside array we are adding the object like this one, and if you want to add multiple objects, like you can keep on adding by comma separated. This is the format of our JSON file. Now let me add multiple records so that pagination and all things we can see on the screen. Fine, can save. So we have created product.json. Now inside app.css, here we can import from its React table first, and from React table we are going to use hook as a use table, and we can import our data into products from, we have file as a product.json which we have just created. Fine. Next thing, like we can import star as React from React. Okay, fine. So we are done with our imports. Now we need to prepare one, create the few constant, for one for columns and other for data. So for columns we can say react dot use memo, and here inside array we can define the column in this way. Like first is a header, and next we can declare the accessor, and what we can pass inside header and accessor. We can go to our JSON data. Here we have these column headers. We can pass this. For header and for accessor. Header which is going to display on screen on browser, and where is accessor. With accessor we can access the column. So this is the basic difference. So this is for product ID. Likewise we can add for 3 more columns. Next column name is the name. Here we have category, accessor as a small category, and finally we have brand, and here is our brand. So we can initialize it with some empty array dependency. Fine. Same way we can add one more constant for data, and here say react.use memo, and here we can pass this products and initialize with empty array. Fine. So what we have created one constant for columns and next for data. Now we need to use this one more constant, which is a table, and here we can use the hook, which is a use table. Inside this we can pass our columns and next as a data. That's it, and here we can complete the statement. Fine. Now what we are, this is the column, this is the data, and this is the table. Now here the table has lot many constant attributes, features and functionalities. So instead of taking the table, we can use the specific functions within the tables. The functions we need as a first as a get table props, get table body props, next header groups, next rows we need prepared row. So this much is enough, but we can keep adding as our table grows. Next thing, now we can start adding our table part. For that, first we will create one div with name as a container, class name as a container. Inside this we can create one table, and here for table we can give class name as a table itself. Now inside this we can create, there are two main components inside table. First is a t head and other is t body. So for table t head and t body, there are rows, both are using the tr, so we can add the tr for both the places, and for t head we need to add th for showing the column data, and for t body inside tr we need to add td to show the table data. Fine, we can save it. So this is the general structure of table, and we used to follow this. Now we need to incorporate our React table functions within this. So what we can do, for every table or tr and th and td, we need to pass the functions available in React table. So for this, first we are going to add get table props function and inside table in the table tab. Next, like inside t head we are going to add, you can see it carefully, because once you understand these, how to add the functions and render the columns and rows, then it is very useful. And once you get handy with this one, So you will see it simple, because at first you will find it difficult maybe for the new users. So here we can add header groups dot, we can call map on this, and inside this we can call hg header group. For each header group we are going to pass this tr. Now here again, like, we are going to pass hg dot get header group props, and here we can add some key as hg dot id. Fine. Now next thing, hd dot headers. For each header, let's say for each column we are going to call a render the header part, okay, for each column. So here again we need to pass the property for this th, and which is like column dot get header props. This is the function. Now here we need to render our column. So what we can do, we can say it's a column dot render, and here we are going to pass what we need to render. It's a header of the column, and header we can see these are the headers of the column. This will get rendered here. We need to add the key as, let's say, column dot id. That's it. We can save it. Now we can run our application to check. Can rerun our application. We can check. Okay, so here is the bracket is missing, due to which, yes, fine, now it seems good. Yes, we can see the columns columns are rendered as expected. Now here what we can do next, like we need to render the table data as well. So for that, for t body we are going to call the table body props it here. Next thing, we are going to use map rows dot, we are going to call map, and for each row we are going to call, so here we are going to return, this is our tr, we can cut it and add inside this return. Now here we need to again add some function as row dot get row props and complete it now. And here we need to add some key as, which is row dot id. Fine. Now next thing, like here we need to, in order to render the cells, we can call row dot cells, and we can call the map on this, and inside this we can say for each cell now we are going to render the table data, so we can cut it and add inside this. And again here we are going to add one function which is like cell dot get cell properties here, and we can add one key as cell dot id. Fine. And here we are going to render our cell data, so we can say cell dot render, and here is our cell which will get rendered. We can save it. Now here, after this, before we return the row, we need to call the prepare row. Inside this we need to pass this row and can complete this prepare row. We have passed it here, and these rows and prepared row we are going to use it here. Okay, so this is the rows we are iterating, and for each row we are preparing the row and returning the row. We can save it and see. Now we can see the data is it is showing the data on the screen. Fine. So far, like we have created the table React application and created table React table inside the, and inside table we have displayed the JSON data. Now we will start implementing our sorting logic. So before we implement the sorting logic, let us add some CSS, minimum CSS in this, so that it will look good. First is a container, next is a table, and next we are going to add for th and td. Fine. For container we can add margin, left we can add 30 pixels somewhere, and we can add margin top. Fine. For tables we can define some width as 565 pixel, border we can add 1 pixel solid and save it. And we can say text align as a center, we can save it. Fine. We can say border collapse as collapse, save it. Fine. Now for t head we can add this border part. Next thing, like we can add some font size, let's say 17 pixel. We can add some line height like 20 pixel in check, fine. And we can add border radius as 5 pixel, fine. Similar way we can add for TD part. Here we can mention something related to 15 pixel, line height 17 pixel, fine. It seems good. Now next thing, like we can add some colors for table color, background color. We can add like this one, fine. For table head background color we can add like so T head. For T head it's a background color, sorry. Now next thing, like for this one. Now next one more thing we can add, it's a tr nth child a1, and here can add the background color as save it, fine. It looks good now, fine. If we, this is the minimum CSL we have added. Now we can check on the browser, so it is looking like this one, okay. Now next thing, like we can start adding our sorting functionality to it. So in order to add the sort functionality, we don't need to write much boilerplate code. Rather, we just go to our this hook. Here we need to add one more hook as use sort by. Same hook we need to add into it here. Once we complete this, it here, and we here this column dot header props, because we are going to sort by column. So here we need to add like column dot get sort, we can say sort by toggle props, table sort by toggle props. So get sort by toggle props, okay, fine. We can save it and check now, fine. We can go to the browser and here and refresh this. Now we can see, yes, we can see the table is getting filtered, getting sorted in ascending and descending order as we start. Here you can see name series is in ascending. Now we can make it descending. Same for brand. Now next thing, like here we can add some arrows with here, let's say column dot is sorted, and then we are going to show some span, and for this span again we are going to check column dot is sorted in descending order. If it is in, then we are going to show the up arrow, or else we are going to show the down arrow, fine. And we can save it. Now what we can do, in order to add the arrows, we can click on Windows colon, or you can add from the icons which are provided from the React icons, so that rather we can use it here. This is the up arrow, and for down arrow we can click on Windows colon and insert this down arrow from emojis. Okay, fine. So here fine, we can give some space here. Fine, and we can save it. Now whenever we click on table, we can see this arrow is appearing for ascending and descending. Same for these rest of the columns. Fine. So we have achieved our sorting functionality with very less code using this hooks. Next thing, we are going to implement our pagination part. Okay, so for pagination, again we are going to add it here, like use pagination. Same hook we are going to add in our it here. And for pagination we need to add a few more things, like it's a next page or previous page kind of things we need to add. Now we need to add few buttons for next and previous to show the next and previous. Okay, so this is the previous button and this is the next button. Fine. And here we can show it. We can see the buttons are appearing it here. Now we are going to implement on click of this button. For previous, it should show previous page, and same for on click on next button, it should show next page. We can save it. Now let us check it how it works. Okay, now by default it should show the rows of 10 rows, but it is now the pagination is not applied yet. Let us check. Okay, so fine. Here we are going rows. If we are going to use pagination, we should use page, and we can apply it here. Instead of rows, we can map on page, and we can save it. Now we can see, yes, we can see now it is showing by default the 10 record because the pagination is applied it here. Now as we have added the logic for next, we can see if we click on next, it will show the next 10 record. Likewise, it will keep on adding until we reach the end. Same way for previous, it will show the previous 10 records. Fine. Now the buttons are working fine for this one. Now we need to disable the previous button if we are on the first page, because we will on first page we are not allowing to go to previous because there are no entries. Here we can for this we need to add few more things at here, like it's a can previous page. Similar way, can next page. Now we can edit it here. If there is no previous page to show, then the button will get disabled. In similar way, we can add for the next button. If there is no next page to show, then it will disable. Fine, we can save it. Now we can check. We can see on the first page it is showing disabled as expected. We can see it is showing disabled. If you go to last record, the button will get disabled. Fine. Next thing, like we are going to show the pages, like whether it is first page of 5 pages or kind of things. For that we can add span button, and here inside span we need to add, here we can say it's a page count, and here we can define one constant, and we can say page index, and here we can say state. Here we can add state. Fine, we can save it. Now here we can add page index of page count. So basically it will show we are on what page number of page count. You can see it is displaying. Now here you can refresh it, we can see yes, we are on the 0th page. So for at first it should not show the 0, rather it should show the first. So now it is showing the first. Fine. So here we can refresh. We are on the first page. If we click, this is the second of 5 pages, third of 5 pages, fourth of 5 pages, and fifth of 5 pages. Fine, it seems good. Now next thing we can implement like previous first button and last button. Now here we can copy this and edit it here, and here we can give name as a first button, and here on click. Now what we can do, for on click we can add one more thing here, go to page, and we can use this go to page here, let's say here, and we can say go to page, and here we can enter here we can enter 0, we can save it 0, and we can save it. Fine. And similar way we can create, you see this is the 0 index page. It will show on click of first button, and on click of last button, on click of last button it should show page count. Page count is a minus, it should be -1 because fine, it will show the last page on click of last button. But here we can disable if there are no next page for last button, and we can save it. Now we can check all these functionality. So we can add some minimum CSS. Let's say we can add class name, pagination button, and same class name we can repeat everywhere. Fine, we can save it. Now we can add some CSS. Here we can add one border, 1 pixel solid, and we can add margin top as in 5 pixel. Next, margin left as in 5 pixel, and we can save it. And here we can add font size as in 13 pixel, line height as in 15 pixel, and let us check. Yes, it seems good. Font size we can make it 10 pixel and check. Now it seems good. Fine. And if you want, we can add some background color as, let's say, Fine, it seems good. So we can take. It seems good. Now, with this, we are done with our pagination part. Showing. We can write some margin right as well because this one is very much closer. Yes, fine. It is showing fine now. You can see it's next. Last, it is getting disabled. For the previous, it is getting disabled. If we want to go to first page, it will simply go to first page, or last, it is showing the last page. Fine. This seems good. Now next thing, we are going to implement the searching functionality. In order to implement the searching functionality, now same way we can add some hook. Here we can use global filter. We are going to use the global filter, client side filtering, and same we can add it here. So one more thing for pagination, we want to check. Let's say we are showing the 10 records as a size. What if you want to limit to 5 records on per page, kind of? Then in that case, we can mention it here. Let's say here initial state we can say, and here we can add page size, and here we can mention whether we want 5 or 7. Let's say 5. You can save it. Yes, we can see it is showing the 5 record per page. Fine. So now we can keep the 10 records per page as expected. Fine, and we can refresh it. Fine. Now we can add one more thing. Now last thing, like we are going to implement the searching functionality, we can use the hook, which is like use global filter, and the same filter we need to add it here. We can copy this and add it here. We need to set the filter, so here we can use set global filter method, and we can pass here global filter as a state, and we can define our search. Let's say input search. Inside this search input, and here we can add some placeholder as an search products. Here we can save it. Here we can add some class name as a input search. Fine. We have to pass some value as here we can say global filter or empty. We can save it. One more thing we need to pass here, we need to provide on change event. So whenever we enter any text or change the text, we need to, for this event, we need to set global filter and pass this e dot target dot value. That's it, and we can save it. So here what we have done, so we have added use filter. Next we have set global filter. Here is the use global filter, and we have added this it here as well in our hook. And we need to set global filter, and here is our constant for setting, and here we are setting the value. In case we add any text, this value will get set. The value will be the value, it will be stored in this one global filter, and whenever we enter some text, like it will get set into the global filter, and our filter functionality will work fine on this. We can save it. We have not added any more extra code, so for searching, let us check. Yes, we can see the filter is working fine as expected. Yes, so let us add one css for, let's say, input search, so that it looks better. Now margin bottom, you can say 10 pixel. So class name is this one, we can add it as, and height we can mention as a 27 pixel, border radius as 5 pixel, and border as 1 pixel solid. You can save it, and finally here we can add some width as, let's say, fine, it seems good. Now we can go to browser and check how it works. Fine, here is our search filter. We can enter the text, and accordingly the table data will get filtered out. For name also, for name column we can check. Yes, fine. For category, yes, it is getting filtered out, and for brand, fine. Next brand, Apple, fine. It is working fine. The searching is working fine. So we have covered all the functionalities which we have discussed before we start the video. So we have completed and implemented all the features and functions which we have promised before we start this video. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I would request you to please like and subscribe the same, so that I will come up with the more knowledgeable videos next. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much.